And good evening. I hope everyone is doing fine as we prepare for possibly severe weather tomorrow evening as we watch everything that's going on around the world. Of course, the big news tonight, if you've paid any attention, was the shooting earlier in New York City. They have located a van of the guy that shot the people on the subway. I'll pray for them. They've got a lookout for him. Hopefully he'll be caught. We don't need things like that happening in our country. And as always, when we get ready for severe weather, we invite the best that there is around. And Storm and Norman, how in the world are you tonight?
I'm doing fine, Scotty Ray. Everybody's going to be saying, not him again.
You seem to pop up when the threat comes about.
Again. Yeah, somebody said that this is a weekly thing now.
It is. This is 4 weeks. And last week when we closed this out, you said next week. Have you even looked at next week?
I'm not even looking anymore. I hope it's just it's got to end sometime.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't right now. I don't see anything. It looks like kind of a cloudy, rainy weekend coming up, but nothing severe.
As we're talking here, and let me pull up radar for the folks. So we got some showers in Mississippi now, but as we look out here to south of Waco, there's a tornado warning right now that we've got here in Texas. This is near Klein and Temple, Texas. This is going to be, if I can get my little machine to turn on here, this is going to be until 8 o'clock. About 29 minutes left on that. Up by Tyler, Texas, some severe thunderstorm warnings and a lot of shear winds, 70-mile-an-hour shear winds with that.
Yeah, I was looking at Fort Worth on Twitter, and they were talking about it. I can't remember which town, but it was a tornado emergency. That means that the tornado was on the ground in the town. And so they were telling everybody to take shelter.
Yeah. Serious stuff. Now, as we glance across Mississippi, we go south of us, right at the Louisiana line there, northeast of Baton Rouge. We got some showers that are getting ready to come into the state. Some stuff down around Hattiesburg that's not too serious. We got more thunderstorm activity going on up around Greenwood in the Mississippi Delta. So let's talk about tonight first, Storm and Norman, and the potential lies, I know, west of us. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think you'll have probably a level 2 threat along the Mississippi River up toward the Memphis area. Tornadoes can't be ruled out. There could be, a couple spin up, a couple weak tornadoes tonight over the western part of the state. But pretty much the main deal is going to be tomorrow.
And that is coming. Let me pull up, we'll pull up the National Weather Service map, and then we'll go to the radar. And what I've got is what the National Weather Service put out with the timeline and the zones of the different levels. And I'll let you explain what we're looking at here.
Yeah, the level 4 is the greatest threat. Basically, if I remember what I saw this afternoon, pretty much from Grenada, basically to north to Memphis is the level 4. That's the area that has the best chance of seeing tornadoes. Does not mean it's going to be the only, we talked about this earlier, does not mean it's going to be the only part of the state does not see tornadoes. It means that it's the area that has the best of seeing tornadoes because it's going to be coming in during the afternoon when you have the heat and instability. It's going to be greater. But yeah, some of those tornadoes could be on the ground. There could be 1 or 2 strong tornadoes also in that area, in the level 4 area.
Now, I participated in that call of the National Weather Service today, and if I understood them right, this could be this level 4 areas, those long tornadoes to where they come down and they stay down for a little bit. And then back to our area, it could be those that kind of pop up like we had last week.
Yeah, I think so. As the night goes on, the instability, obviously the sun goes down, you're going to lose some energy, heat. And the storms will diminish as they move eastward. But, don't get too hung up on if you're sitting in equipment area and you're level 2, and, in Newton County you're level 3, and, don't get too hung up on a level 2, level 3. All of the state has a chance of seeing tornadoes tomorrow night. And so all modes of severe weather are possible throughout most of the state tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night.
Now, as you and I were talking before we went on, one thing to keep in mind is last week we didn't think there was going to be much to the equipment area, and it had an EF1 that did touch down. Did we look over at Newton, look what happened there?
Yeah, the tornado on the ground. It kind of, the timeline there kind of sped up a little bit, a couple hours quicker. Nobody needs to, like I said, the big thing is don't let your guard down just because you're not in a level 4 area.
Right.
Because you still, tornadoes really don't care if you're in a level 4 or level 2, and so if one hits your house, it doesn't matter if you're level 4 or level 2.
Right, and we zoom in on this, and let's look at this line of here where this 3 and 2 and 4 is. If you come into Lauderdale County here, and all of Neshoba County is under a level 3, which is serious. All of Newton County is.
Yes, no doubt. Yeah, that's a serious deal then.
Now, if you start in Kipper County, let's just look at Neshoba, Noxubee County here. Barely, almost the entire county. If you're watching from the Macon area, Sugarlock, all of that is under a level 3. Only that little edge right there on the county line. When you get into Scuba, only the eastern side from that highway where 16 runs into 17 is not in it. Baca Valley and that stretch of 45 just north of Lauderdale, Mississippi. As we get into Lauderdale here, you'll see it here. The western side of the county is a level 3 and just west of the naval base.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't get too hung up on if you're in western Kipper County, it's a level 3, or if you live in eastern Kipper County, it's level 2, or vice, with Lauderdale County, same thing. I wouldn't, like I said, a tornado's not going to be a level 3. So I gotta calm down now. I'm fixing to move this level 2. So, all the state is there's a chance of severe weather tomorrow night. And also, damaging winds is all our area. I believe the National or the Storm Prediction Center put pretty much all of our area in like a 30% chance of damaging winds tomorrow night. And so that's a pretty serious deal.
Right. I just got a note if you're traveling 14 and up in front of the hospitals in Meridian, there's a wreck there. So if you're going to be traveling there, watch that if you're in that area there in front of the hospitals.
Yeah.
We're getting notes that sprinkling in Carthage. Also, let's see here. A lot of folks watching out there. We do appreciate that.
That's good.
Winston County joining us. We do appreciate y'all watching from Decatur, those areas there. Now, let's talk about timelines. The National Weather Service has us in the afternoon hours. Do you think this will go after midnight, or do you think this will wrap up before then?
Yeah, I think it'll wrap up. We wrap up before. As we saw last week, it seems like every time the storms tend to speed up a little bit for about an hour or two. I really think the main core is going to come through probably 7, 8-ish o'clock, somewhere along in there. I think everything's going to be exiting to the east across Alabama state line, I would say by 10 o'clock.
You think it'll go. Now, are we going to have an earlier round of this? And if I understood everything right this morning, the National Weather Service is telling us that we'll have one round that comes in the afternoon and then one a little bit later in the evening. That
some of the kind of radar models are showing that we could have a kind of a initial line of thunderstorms to push through late afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock or so throughout east central Mississippi. And so that's not etched in stone. That is something to watch.
Okay. But anytime during this time period through midnight, we need to be on our toes of watching this. And again, as you and I both push this issue of making sure that you have a place to go to that is safe, that you can go in a moment's notice. If you get an alarm that says there's a warning in your area, you need to go and not waste any time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I noticed that a lot of people, when I saw the National Weather Service at Fort Worth, was talking about, if you have a helmet, football helmet or any type of baseball helmet, to put it on.
And I agree with that. And I've often said, always wear those hard sole shoes, because if your home gets hit, you've got to walk out in all of that.
Yeah, I like to wear some of my flip-flops that I like to wear.
Right. Yeah, you'll get hurt with that. Now, as we go back here and look at this, I got radar pull up. I know you can't see what I'm looking at, but I'm pulling up this just south of Waco where this tornado warning is now. And tell me this about the hail. We saw this last night in Oklahoma, baseball-sized hail. And as we look at this right now, it is hailing like you have never seen in this area there around Rosebud, Rogers, and these areas just south of Waco, Texas.
Yes, hail is going to be another big threat tomorrow, especially these thunderstorms that kind of form out in front of the main lines of these what we call supercell thunderstorms. even though they may or may not produce a tornado, they can produce some hefty hail, as we saw. I can't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago in the Flowood Brandon area.
Yeah.
And so, if you got a place to put your cars under the garage, that's be a good smart move to do.
And as I'm pulling this up, as we're looking at this, I pulled up one of these sails there to where this is packing 104 mile an hour winds with the front edge of this storm as it comes across Texas. And that will eventually make its way. This is what's coming our way tomorrow, all of this.
Yes, it will be pushing through our area, like I said, late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes, pretty much all modes of severe weather is possible across our state tomorrow night.
And again, let's go back over this. I want you to be very clear on this of telling people not to discount that this can't be severe weather for us, even in an area that they're calling to, which is going all the way to the Alabama line.
Yes, it really makes no difference. It's just saying where you're more likely to see tornadoes.
Right.
Does not mean that's going to be the only spot in the state to see it. We're still under a pretty big threat for severe weather tomorrow.
All right. Well, Storm and Norman, I appreciate you joining me tonight and giving your input of what you think is going to happen. I appreciate that.
Maybe, hopefully it'll be August before you talk to me again.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Or maybe we don't need to even talk in August. Maybe it'll be a very weak hurricane season this year. So
that's what we hope. But
that's what we hope. Yeah, we need a break. It's been rough since January 1st.
It has. It's been one storm after another. The great news is we haven't had any loss of life in our area, which is great.
That is good. Yeah, we've dodged a lot of bullets in this area. There's no doubt about it.
Well, Norman, thank you, and I'll be back in touch with you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Again, Storm and Norman joined us just then as we talked about the potential for the severe weather tomorrow. Again, the Mississippi Delta ranked at that highest level in the state of Mississippi. As we get east of Jackson all the way to the Meridian area out by the airport is a level 3. We do have that level 2 splitting the county here and south. But as we discussed there, don't discount this as nothing happening. Because it very well could as we get deeper into this storm as it moves in tomorrow afternoon. We expect it to be in the afternoon. Hopefully, it'll all be out of the area by midnight is what we're hoping. We'll watch what the National Weather Service tells us. Now, let's pull back up. Let me do this. Let's go back over a few more things that the National Weather Service has sent out. We want you to be aware of all this. Again, this is tonight. Let me pull up tonight and show you what we've got here. This is what we're looking at for tonight. It's going to be west of us. Nothing to worry about. Pretty much a sprinkle or two as we're starting to see this here on the screen of the different areas that are watching. We had Jackson area watching a moment ago. Do appreciate that. Clinton, all through those areas. We'll show that Jackson area is at a level 2. You can't rule out bad weather here up to the Delta. So y'all be on your tiptoes for those folks that are watching here in the Jackson area. Be on your safe zone. Be ready for whatever happens there. As you see there, it can't be ruled out. This is what we're looking at tomorrow. Our timeline, late in the afternoon. You don't have to worry about closings. This will be pretty much after all businesses are done and finished for the day. 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. is the big window that they're putting on this. Now, can that shorten? Absolutely. That's what we were talking about there. As we look at the different levels across here, and let's move down here and take a look at the flash flooding with this. A lot of rain will come down with these storms, 2 to 3 inches. It could be locally heavy at times. We're expecting about 1 inch on a regular basis, but when a thunderstorm comes, and I don't have that right. There you can read that now. We're looking at flash flooding mixed in with this. That's a lot. As we come down and we look at the next thing, strong winds. Now, winds can be just as damaging. Again, remember those garbage cans and things that you have sitting around the yard. Make sure to get that up so you don't lose them. Kids' toys, it loves to pick those up and move them there. High-profile vehicles, be careful tomorrow with that wind blowing there. As we move on, let's take a look here at the edge of Alabama. For the folks that are watching here just east of the Meridian area, Demopolis, y'all are level 2, Selma, all the way over to Montgomery. And that timeline for y'all is going to be 8 p.m. to 3 a.m., just a little bit slower. And again, don't put too much confidence in that 8 p.m. It could be sooner, as we all have seen how these storms can move fast or sometimes they slow down. But that's our outlook for the edge of Alabama. Now, let's go ahead and look at this as we move down up to North Mississippi, as we look there at these threats up here in the this is actually Louisiana. I put it backwards there. This is New Orleans here. As we see New Orleans, how these storms are going to be coming in. And right there at Macomb is the line where it picks up. I know we have a lot of people that drive back and forth to the New Orleans, Louisiana area that watch us. It says level 2 down there on the coast as we go to New Orleans. And then as we move up, as I told you, I had everything just kind of backwards there. We move up to North Mississippi, labeled wrong. Here's Tupelo here in the Oxford area. Y'all be on your tiptoes there. And this moves on into Jackson, Tennessee. Those are our areas that we're watching. We'll be here throughout the day tomorrow to let you know as this begins and step by step of what happens, what's going to be going on with it to make sure that you're safe. Share it. Make sure that you follow it so you get these notifications. And as always, I urge you, if you hadn't joined the YouTube side of this, if something happened and you lose your Facebook connection, you have 2 ways to do it. Sam Media is how it's listed on YouTube. Here on Facebook, it's Scotty Ray's Weather. However you want to look it up and follow, just make sure you're there. And you can, of course, come through the webpage as well. It broadcasts live through that as well at sammedia.network. And that's how that's going. How are you doing, Tyler Town? It's Kathy Bracey watching. We do appreciate that. Kathleen, thank you for joining us. Also, Rianne, good to see you. Linda Culpepper is there. And as we look at Alicia watching from Stonewall, as we look at this. And again, before we go, let's look at where the rain is tonight. Let me pull this up so you'll know where it is in relationship to where you are right now across the state of Mississippi. Let's look at where we are here. We got light showers starting to move into the Meridian area. Nothing to this. This is that old light shower. The only thing that I can tell you to be extremely careful on is putting on your brakes at a stop sign. It will commence to sliding if you do that wrong. That light rain brings that oil out. We do have heavier rain moving into Vicksburg. You see that little storm moving in there. As we move up the Mississippi River up through the Delta area, Greenwood getting sharp storms. Greenville, Cleveland, heavier rain in those areas. And Clarksdale, deep into the Delta there. A lot of that out by Oxford right there. This is the line right through here for tonight of where severe and lighter. Tupelo side will be lighter activity, as well as Starkville, Mississippi State, all the way back down through Meridian. And as we come here, we'll look here, starting to move into the Heidelberg area, a shower or 2. Laurel, Hattiesburg. We've got some showers there as well. That's really a cap of what we're waiting for. The severity will be tomorrow afternoon, the worst of what we're going to get. And hopefully we do see a break finally coming, and the following week we won't have any of this. We certainly hope that. Bree Packer's in Facebook jail. Shame on you, girl. She's watching from Decatur. That does happen from time to time. Hello from Philadelphia, Edna. Miss Massey, how are you doing there? Melissa Reed watching us from Raleigh, Mississippi. Glad to have you here. Rachel Whitaker. Rita Dean, how are you? Glad to see you there. Also, Alicia McCoy joins us there. A lot of folks there. And again, we will be live tomorrow as this happens. We'll be back in the morning at 6:30 a.m., bright and early, for all the news and headlines that happen in our area. You'll know about it first if you join us there at 6:30, and then Candace comes back bright and early. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say, at 8 a.m. I hope you'll be here for both shows as we bring you the headlines from here and, well, all across the nation, so that you know first, and we try to tell it the way it is, point blank. That's the way it works. Thank you all so much. A big thank you to the sponsors that make this show happen each and every day. Shirley Burnett, good to see you there. Geiger, Alabama, that will be a level 2. Shirley's wanting to know about that. Y'all could see some heavy wind tomorrow afternoon. Also, you could see some of this, the chance of a tornado is still in the forecast. It's not one of these things where we're saying one's going to touch down, but it is a possibility. Don't rule it out for the Geiger area. Heavy rain, and also you're going to have winds in Geiger, Alabama, is what we're expecting there. We'll have all of this again in the morning as it gets a little bit closer. And we know Newton is in that higher level there. As we watched that last week as it came across, and it was radar indicated that there was a possible tornado there last week, and then it became one very quickly. What did we see in our area? About 4 or 5 tornadoes last week? It was a bunch. Again, we rely on you. You're our eyes and ears as we cover weather let us know in the comments what's happening. And that's how we get through these things tomorrow. Pictures, anything like that, videos that you have, I'll have a staff standing by to get those loaded so you can see it as we're broadcasting. We'll have all that going on tomorrow. But again, you're the key to the success of what makes this happen. You are the people and you are it. And I cannot thank y'all enough. All right, I've held you enough. It's time to go eat supper or get back to what you were doing, scanning through Facebook or watching the news, whatever it is. But thank y'all. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning beginning at 6:30 a.m. I'll see you then.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: